All right, so today we're going to do a little tutorial on how to add events and how to use Google Calendar. Google Calendar is something that a lot of different organizations use. It's something a lot of people use. It can help you keep your events organized. I don't remember half of what I have to do every day. I live by what's in my Google Calendar. It just really helps me stay organized. So when you go to Google, I know that there's a few different apps you can use. And so some of those include Mail, Calendar. A lot of these I don't use as much. So I'm going to go ahead and just move Gmail up to the top because I use that one a lot. And I'm going to move um, Calendar up to the top by clicking and dragging it. Um, and so now that I have Gmail at the top, I think I'm going to start, even though we're talking about Google Calendar, by opening Gmail. And I'm already logged in here. Also, I'm going to open a tab up here. These are called tabs. If you go to your second tab, we can again go to apps and we can get Google Calendar. All right, and I'm using Google Chrome as my browser for this, just because it makes it simplified for those people who are learning on a Chromebook. Because I use Google Mail and Google Calendar a lot, I think I want to bookmark these. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm on Mail. I'm going to go over and click this star that says bookmark this tab. And how about I just call that Gmail? I'm going to change the name of that. You can put it in different places down here, but I'm going to put it in my bookmarks bar and say done. And so now, do you see this over here in the top left of my browser? Now I have that saved in my bookmarks bar so I can find it quickly and easily. I'm going to go here to Google Calendar because I think I'd like to add that to my bookmarks bar. And again, I'm going to come over here and click this star. So here's your URL bar. Over here is that star. Click that. And we're just going to call this Google Calendar. I make a lot of typos that I have to fix as I type. There you go. So now they're up here, right? That means that now I can go do a different page. Like maybe I want to go look at npr.org, right? So I'm there, and then I think, oh, I want to go check my mail. I can just come up here in this bookmarks bar at the top and click Gmail, right? Say I want to go to my calendar, I can just click on calendar because I'm adding my bookmarks up here. So how about I open Gmail in this tab? I want to open a second tab. This plus is how you open it. Tabs means that they stay open, so you can go back and forth between them without having to close either page. So I opened this fake email inbox that I have, and what I see here is that I've gotten a few calendar events, right? And so here's one that I have named, "This meeting will probably be boring." So I'm going to go ahead and it shows me over here that this meeting is at 3 p.m. Um, I don't have any conflicts. This is one of the cool things about opening the items in your Gmail inbox is that it's linked with your Google Calendar. So it'll show you if you have any conflicts. So not a real meeting at 11 a.m., but this meeting will probably be boring is at 3 p.m., right? So I don't have any conflicts. I'm going to go ahead and go to the meeting, even though it's probably going to be boring. Now that I've clicked yes, what that does, when I click yes, that sends an email to the person who invited me that lets them know I can attend, that I've responded yes. And then it also, when I go here to my calendar, now that this meeting will probably be boring calendar is right there. It's in dark blue. You can change the colors on these. Right now, I have this calendar in blue, but you can change the color to whatever you want the color for your calendar to be. So now I have this, excuse me. Now I have this meeting will probably be boring and it's saved here, right? Um, let's go back and check our calendar. Because I've now responded to this in Gmail, I can check it and then I can delete it. We're done. I don't need that anymore. Here's another meeting called Not a Real Meeting. This one is at 11 a.m. on the 23rd. And I see that I have this meeting will probably be boring meeting later in the day. So I can make a choice. If I'm like, oh, I have things to do that morning that before my 3 p.m. meeting, I should say no. But because I don't have a conflict here, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And that lets them know. You can also say maybe. One of the interesting things that happens with a maybe response is now when you look in your calendar, let me refresh my calendar and make sure it's up to date. It's striped. So you see how it's solid if you've said yes. It's clear if you've been invited but not responded yet. But if you say maybe, then it kind of puts it in there so that as you're looking at your day on your calendar, you're like, oh, that's a meeting I haven't committed to yet. I didn't agree to go to that. So I don't really have to, but that meeting's happening during that time if I want to join, right? So I'm going to leave that on maybe for now, just so we can see what that looks like. We're going to get rid of that. One other way that you can accept calendar events is directly from within Google Calendar. So I'm not even going to look at my email for this one, but if I happen to be scrolling through my calendar and I see a meeting that is in clear, I know before I even look at my email that someone has invited me to attend another meeting. And I might be like, oh, yes, that's that meeting I was waiting on the invite to. And when that happens, I can just click on that calendar event and it'll pop up a little window for me. And I can scroll to see the details. And then I can come down here and just say, yes, yes, I am going to go to that. You can respond right down here using these buttons. Let's say that there is this time does not work for me. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's say there's a time that doesn't work for me. A lot of times when you get an invitation from someone using Outlook as their calendar, you can click propose a new time and suggest a time that's more convenient for you or that you would be able to attend. But I'm looking at this calendar. I don't have any conflicts. I'm going to just say yes. So now that one is on my calendar. Let's go up here to our tabs back over to Gmail. Here's a meeting called the Also Fake Meeting from 1:30 to 3, right? It's going to be on Monday from 1:30 to 3. So I look over here at my calendar and I see that at 2 p.m. I have another meeting. I have a meeting with my team at 2 p.m. So I can't make Also Fake Meeting because I have a conflict. So I'm going to just click no here. But before I do click no, I want you to see how before I click no, it's still showing up as a meeting I got invited to. If I click no, and then we're going to get rid of that email. We're done with that one. I click no, and now it's showing crossed out in my calendar. If I refresh my calendar, yeah, it's showing I was invited at a meeting during that time, but I can't make it. So I know that it's not going to happen. And then looking in my email, the fact that when I open this in my email, the button for yes is already green lets me know that I've already responded to it. That's the one I responded to in my Google Calendar, right? So I don't need to worry about keeping this email here. I'm going to get rid of it. So let's say I'm setting up a meeting. I want to set up a meeting with someone who I want to invite them and have it go onto their calendar. That's part of what makes this useful using Google Calendar is that these people sent me invitations, and now that I've said yes, it's automatically on my calendar. I don't have to go create a whole new calendar event. I don't have to remember the time. I don't have to copy and paste the Zoom link if there's a link in there. So let's say you want to invite someone to a meeting and make it convenient for them and have it automatically show up in their Google Calendar. What you can do is pick your time. Let's say that I want to invite someone to lunch on Wednesday at noon. So I'm going to go on Wednesday down here to noon, and I'm going to click here. And I've got from 12 to 1. That sounds good. Lunch with my team, right? I can add some things. Let's say that we work remotely. If we work, let's say we're working in person and we're going to have our location be a nearby restaurant. I'm going to pick Vimela's. Vimela's Curry Blossom Cafe is a really cool locally owned restaurant in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So I can go look that up under here in the location, start typing it in. What this does when you add a location to it means that the day that they go to attend with you, they can click on the location and it'll open it up in Google Maps so they can automatically have the directions put into their phone. So let's say I do lunch with my team. I invite my team member. And I'm gonna say down here, looking forward to seeing you all at Vimela's on Wednesday. And let's say that I want everyone to remember to bring something. Please bring your, please, how about we say, please come prepared to share a 2-minute update on your project after we eat. So that way they've got instructions. This little section down here is the description of it. Now we've told them any other information they need. Maybe we can even say, if you'd like to carpool, or actually let's say, and this is not true about Vimela's, but we could say, parking is limited, consider carpooling or using the parking garage on Main Street, right? So we're giving them the information down here that they need to be prepared for this meeting. And then we invite them. This is who we're going to invite, right? So it invited someone. I don't need to manage the call because we're not doing Google Meet. Now, right in here, this has Google Meet. Google Calendar automatically adds Google Meet when you invite people. And that can be sort of confusing when people get the invitation. They'll be like, wait, is it Meet or is it at Vimela's? Is it virtual or Vimela's? So we're going to get rid of this since this is an in-person event. If at some point we get rid of it and we're like, oh, wait, I did mean for that to be virtual. Let's say we get close to lunch, the lunch date that we're having, and we find out that Vimela's is going to be closed that day, then I can very quickly delete that and come back in and click Add Google Meet. And that'll create a link, but let's get rid of that. Down here is your guest permissions, right? Do we want the people we invite to be able to change the event? I'm going to say no because I'm setting up the lunch. This is my appointment, right? Do we want them to be able to invite others? You can choose. Sometimes if it's a private meeting, I'll say no. But if I'm like, oh, I wonder if I forgot a team member, or let's say you're doing a webinar, you know what, for lunch, we're not going to invite anybody. We'll come back to that later. We're not going to let them invite people. Are they allowed to see the guest list? I'm going to say yes, they can see who all is coming, right? So I have created my invitation. Does it repeat? It doesn't repeat. Notification, that means that it'll give you a notification on your computer or phone and say you have a meeting coming up in half an hour. Well, let's say it takes you more than half an hour to drive to Vimela's. I might go ahead and bump this up to an hour just to give me a reminder an hour before to remind me to leave my office. And let's say that I want a reminder the day before so I don't forget that it's coming up the next day. Add notification. I can even add a second notification to be one day before. Not 11. One day before. So now when I click save, what will happen is it's going to send me a notification the day before this lunch and pop it up and say, don't forget lunch with your team tomorrow. And then an hour before the event, it'll pop up another notification to remind me. And I'm going to go ahead and click save. And would you like to send invitation emails to Google Calendar guests? I'm going to say yes, let's send those. Send those reminders. Okay. So now when I open lunch with my team, you remember where I told you about the location adds Google Maps to it? I can just click that and it's going to pop up my directions and tell me exactly where to go, right? And I can then use Google Maps to navigate where I need to go. Let's say I want to invite people to a virtual meeting. And let's say that the meeting is going to be for anyone who's interested in learning about an upcoming opportunity. So I want guests to be able to invite people. I'm going to create an event on the day that I want. Info session for fall learning cohort, right? That's going to be, let's make it an hour and a half long. That seems to be the standard. And I don't want to make this repeat. So I'm going to add Google Meet because we want to do it virtually. And now that means there's automatically a link for when we want to do it. I want guests to be able to invite others. Let's say that I don't want them to be able to see who the guest list is. That's fine. So we're going to say, join us to learn about this fall's 8-week learning cohort and how to apply, right? So now maybe I leave it to give me a 30-minute notification, which is nice to give me a reminder. I don't need to add a location because I've added Google Meet. I've set the time. It does not repeat. We're going to click save. Oh, we want to add our guests. So I'm going to invite my there we go. And you invite whoever you want to invite, and then you click save. Now we have this event on our calendar, and that means that anytime anyone goes to join it, when they're ready to join, they just click this video, click this button, join with Google Meet, or click the little link under it. Sometimes if you send this to someone using Outlook, the button will not work when they open the event, but the link underneath will. But they can just click that and it'll automatically create a video meeting with them, which is very, very helpful. One new other thing I want to show you is, let's say you want to set up a weekly meeting. If you notice, these don't repeat. So my next week, they're not on my calendar. So I want to make a weekly meeting. Let's say we're going to have our weekly staff meeting. And let's say we're going to do it Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Tuesdays at 1 is our new staff meeting time. So Tuesdays from 1 to 2, I'm going to say staff meeting. If we work virtually and we aren't in person, I would add Google Meet conferencing. If you do work in person, you could add the location. What building is it in? And if it's a building and you need to add the room, you could say meet in the oak room or whatever, right? But we have our staff meeting here. I don't think I need to let guests invite others. We know who the staff are, but I might do that if I want my managers. Let's say it's a big staff and I want them to be able to invite any new hires or people they supervise. I'm going to add the people I want to come. And you would then add anyone else you want, right? You can add a good number of people here. It's 1 to 2, and I'm going to say I want it to repeat. And it gives you some options. You can have it repeat daily, weekly on Tuesdays, monthly on the 4th Tuesday of every month, annually on August 23rd, or every weekday, Monday through Friday. You can also do custom. Custom is where you can say repeat every 3 weeks on, Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and you want it to stop either on a certain date where it won't have it any more weeks after that, or after 13 meetings. You can make this go up and down however many occurrences you want. But we're not going to change that. We're going to just go with weekly on Tuesday to keep it simple. And now I'm going to click save, and that sends invites to my people. Okay, So now we have a staff meeting, but if we come up here to tab ahead in our weeks, you'll see that the staff meeting is now every week. I made it a regular thing. Okay. And the last thing that I wanted to show you how to add to your calendar is an all-day event. So let's say that I am going to be out during the first week of September, right? You can either go up here to go from week to week and tab ahead to September, or you can come over here to the month and tab ahead to September. You see where I'm doing that? You can go through different months, and when you find the month and the week you want, you can click on it, and it'll take you to that week in your calendar. I'm going to go back and select that first full week of September. Right, so here we are. I'm going to say that I'm out of the office that week. So I'm going to click to create an event, and I'm going to say out of office. Sometimes I use out of office if that means that I'm still working, but I'm not going to be there. Meaning I'm working, but I'm not going to be in the office, or I'm working on a project, but I'm not available for meetings. You can also say vacation out of office. Sometimes people will even put OOO to remind you out of office. And that's going to be an all-day event. Like, I'm not coming in at all, and I'm going to start that vacation on Monday, and I'm going to finish it on Friday. So September 5th through 9th, I'm out of the office. And then I'm going to click save. Now, if you look, now this reminds me on my calendar that I'm gone all that week, right? I'm gone that whole week. I can go back for this staff meeting and be like, oh yeah, I can't make it to the staff meeting. So I'm going to say I'm not going to that one. And it'll say, oh, it's a recurring event. Are you replying to all events? Like, is this you saying, I'm not going to any of the staff meetings ever? Does this mean from this date forward, I can't make any of the staff meetings? So this meeting and any of them that come afterward? Or does that just mean today's staff meeting? And because I'm out of office, I'm just going to say this event. Today's staff meeting I can't make. So now when you look, I'm still a yes for the other staff meetings. I'm a no for the staff meeting on the week I'm out of the office. And I'm back on staff meetings again the week after that. So these are some things you can do with Google Calendar to help you navigate managing your calendar. It does have some different views, which is sort of helpful right now. If we look up here, we're looking at the weekly view. You can also change to a daily view. So here's all of my meetings. I'm looking at them one day at a time, and I can tag back and forth. And when you're looking in daily view, you can add meetings. It's the same process. Click where you want the meeting and then fill in all the details. So I can go through daily view and go from day to day, which can be helpful. Sometimes that weekly view starts to look a little chaotic. If you get to where you have a lot of meetings, you may be like, you know what, I just want to look at today. So pick your day, and then just click day. This is the day I want to look at, and we can skip ahead to find the exact day that we want to look at. You can also do a monthly view. So here we have a calendar, monthly calendar, and I see where my events are, right? Now, I'm not going to see all of them because it's only going to put a few in each one of these things, right? Once you start to get a busier calendar, you won't see them all. But monthly view, again, any of these views you can add an item for. So let's say that I have an event I want to add on Thursday, September 4th. While I'm looking at monthly view, I can just click there, and then you go through the same steps to add the event. Let's see. So we have month view. We have year view, where you can do this and scroll around and go to where you need to. And again, if this is 2022, say you want to see what day of the week a day falls on next year, you can tab through to different years to find the year that you want. So here's how you switch from one to the next. You can also do a schedule view. So this is where you can just scroll through what your schedule for the next little bit looks like. Um, and one of the things I will say is that Google Calendar adds calendars, holiday dates for your region. So these I did not add myself. These automatically pop up in Google Calendar. We can also go to a 4-day view. So that means it just gives you a few days at a time. I usually keep mine on week though in general. I think we're going to go ahead and stop this this session now, and I hope this was helpful.